Thanks for stopping by, good people. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Share the video, and of course, drop us a like. It would help the channel grow. So, you see it on the screen, right? White silence kills. It sure does, especially when they're complicit in the obvious, right? Now, if you're black or brown in America, or even abroad, you can clearly relate with the fact that you've had an experience where you felt like if you was white, that your matter would have been resolved differently, or you would have been treated differently in any situation. And when I talk about white, I'm not trying to talk about the demographic of poor white folks, where they obviously are treated like less than as well. So this is not towards that demographic. We're talking about the demographic that walks around with this level of privilege, where they're oblivious to the fundamental fact that we are policed different, we are treated different, and that the root of this is all systemic. It's systemic. And they walk around with this belief in denial to just speak up the truth and to submit that that's what it is, instead of just continuing on a lie. And the funny thing is, knowing that you're living a lie is even worse, right? So I came across a video from a white fella, a decent one, I would say, because he had the balls to actually come out and share a conversation he had with a person who he thought was a friend. And you can witness for yourself the ideology and how it plays out itself. So let's roll that footage.
A white buddy of mine today said, you know, Dixon, not everything's about race, man. Right, buddy? I told him, I said, it ain't never been about race. Cause, you know, I found out, that about 95% of these school shootings is by white people. Almost all of them is done by white people. And there's been hundreds of them now. Hundreds of mass shootings all around the country. But imagine if it was brown and black folks that were shooting up in white schools. But, yeah, that wouldn't make any difference, right? He said,
I heard him. Let's bring that back. He said, what if it was brown and black people that were shooting up those schools? Right?
But imagine if it was brown and black folks that were shooting up in white schools. But, yeah, that wouldn't make any difference, right? He said, well, of course not, Dixon. That ain't gonna make no damn difference in gun control. It's the Second Amendment. I said, yeah, it's funny though. And
always trying to use the Second Amendment where they see it fit conveniently, right? Where it's convenient for them, they'll start throwing the Second Amendment out, right? In this situation, in this particular example, that's what his buddy did, right? Just want to take the clueless approach. Let's continue.
1968, they had the Black Panthers with AK-47s and whatnot and assault rifles, and they were arming themselves. And by God, the first time they passed common sense gun laws. I mean, they banned the fucking assault rifle. All this amazing shit happened. But yeah, you're right. If it was black and brown people shooting up white schools, well, no, that wouldn't make any difference. I said, you know what? You're right, buddy. It ain't about race. That's why they want to ban CRT, because we ain't got no real racism in our history. That's why they want to ban wokeism and ban racial consciousness.
And that's the truth he spit right there. You know, the CRT, the critical race theory. You got clowns like DeSantis with that garbage he's pulling in Florida. And like we all know, we're going to bring that back, let him rock with that again. We all know what that's about. They want to just wipe the history of Black America and what our contributions were and what we had to endure during our contribution periods in this country, and how we continue to help this country grow, even still to today, with our inventions, our ideas, Then they don't want you to notice in the schools. They don't want you to hear about anything great that we do. Again, the oblivious approach, which is that silence we're talking about here on the screen that kills. Let's bring it back.
I said, you know what? You're right, buddy. It ain't about race. That's why they want to ban CRT, because we ain't got no real racism in our history. That's why they want to ban wokeism and ban racial consciousness, because there ain't no racism here. There never was. From slavery to assassination, Abraham Lincoln, MLK to Jim Crow, man, it ain't never been about race, and it never will be. And that's why they got all that legislation to stop black books and to ban and criminalize black books and black history, because it ain't never been about race, none of it. And we're supposed to just sweep it under the carpet and not talk about it. We're supposed to normalize denying and gaslighting white supremacy, because that's the goddamn motherfucking American way, right, buddy? But this time
for those of you who are slow, he's being facetious there in the conversation that he had with his so-called friend on the topic of how black people are treated differently than white folks in America. Let's continue on.
was getting pretty red in the face. I don't know why, but I'm just saying it's not about race, right? The KKK in Tennessee, founded in Pulaski, Tennessee, was never about race. Those 3 state representatives, 2 of them being expelled today, and the white one not being expelled for the exact same behavior, not about race. You're right. Nothing in America is about race. And that's why they're fighting so hard to not talk about race.
Always fighting hard to not talk about race, but always fighting hard to play out race-based scenarios right before your eyes. That's America for you. That is America for you.
About race. And that's why they're fighting so hard to not talk about race. Because if we don't talk about it, we'll never fix it. And the system and the culture of white supremacy will keep right on shining throughout the land. And in reality, that's what you want, my friend. The one who says not everything's about race.
And the person that normally says that, and they're white, you could bet your bottom dollar that they're the ones you have to be concerned about when it comes to racism. The ones that live in denial, the one that lives in oblivious space. Those are the ones you need to watch out for.
You're right. Not everything's about race in the mind of a white person. But if you're not white, every fucking thing is about race. But to talk about it as a white person makes you uncomfortable, makes you have to face your own fucking immorality, your own fucking inhumanity. Wow. Can you imagine that as a white person, having to face your own immorality and inhumanity? That's too much. You should just be able to sweep it under the carpet, keep the system alive, continue to benefit, have privileges. That's what it's all about, right?
Right.
You're right. That's how white supremacy works.
Exactly.
And that's why it'll never be fixed until you get uncomfortable and face the fucking truth.
You have to be uncomfortable, white folks. Don't be afraid. We're not going to bite, but you have to feel uncomfortable. And these conversations are uncomfortable. But it's not our fault that we have to have these conversations. So don't back down now. Don't back down now. We want to leave all the ignorance behind. But we want solid white folks to come to the table and speak up. Stop having that silence. Because as you can hear from my buddy here, it definitely kills. It definitely kills. Tell me what you thought about this video in the comment section below. I would love to hear about it. If you have experiences, please drop them there as well. I believe the community would love to see them and hear about them as well. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you like this video, please leave the like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And definitely click that notification bell so you can get future updates. Again, thanks for watching the video. We out.